Hello, I'm Ian Stewart, and I want to give you a quick update on the results of the third quarter CFO survey. Now, to me, the real standout finding from this survey is that despite uncertainties in the euro area and in the wider geopolitical scene, risk appetite amongst the chief financial officers of the UK's largest firms has risen to a new 7-year high. So 72% of CFOs say now is a good time to take risk. And I think what's happening is that the bad news from the euro area, the bad news in terms of geopolitical risk, is being offset by a strengthening of the US economy, by good conditions in the UK economy, and by plentiful liquidity. Now, this quarter we've asked a special question about how CFOs feel about the appropriateness of government policy. We did this 2 years ago, and what's striking is that this quarter CFOs feel much more positive about the policy environment. Actually, on average, the rating for the appropriateness of government policy has gone from 67% to 77%. So CFOs feel much happier about the environment for business and the long-term environment for running their businesses. The area which gets the greatest level of satisfaction is actually monetary policy, what the Bank of England's doing. 97% of CFOs say the Bank of England is running appropriate monetary policy. And I think that's reflected in CFOs' views on the availability and pricing of credit. They're telling us that credit is more available and is at cheaper interest rates than at any time in the last 7 years. So this is a really capital-rich environment for the big companies that we're surveying in the CFO survey. But it's not all plain sailing for the corporate sector. What this survey shows is a rise in CFOs' perceptions of uncertainty. Now, that's been declining for the last couple of years, so we've seen a small rise in these perceptions. And I think part of what's driven that is the uncertainty around the Scottish referendum results. Indeed, what we found as the survey results came in is that those that were filed after it was known it was going to be a no vote in Scotland showed much lower levels of uncertainty. But I think what the Scottish referendum does do is it illustrates how political events can feed through to business uncertainty. The final question we asked in this survey was about what is it that CFOs are worried about in the external environment. And the top two things were not economics or finance, the kind of things that CFOs have been worried about for the last 6-7 years. The top two concerns were the next May's general election and the possibility of a referendum on UK membership of the European Union. So I think really to conclude, what's interesting is that CFOs are keen on taking risk. They're in an environment where they can easily raise credit. They seem pretty upbeat about the outlook. They've so far shrugged off the effects of the euro slowdown, but they are concerned about political risks. Political risk is centre stage, and I think the message is that over the next few months, up until next May's general election, political risk is really going to be quite salient for the UK's largest corporates.